Alright, time for another short video. Welcome back to Corpus Cinema Control, where we talk about experimental film, silent film, B movies, Z movies, video art, and everything in between. Are you scared? You should be. Because today we're talking about the 1972 short film by Malcolm Grice called Threshold. And this film has police. Boo! Alright. I loved this film. From the start, I knew I would love it. With the colored bands that are on screen and the blips of sound, it is just it is just an extremely Connor movie. The strips of color that are on the film at the beginning, gorgeous. I mean, that's it right there. That's color, that's cinema, that's motion, that's light. You know, light shining through the film, but very simply, modified. Just, matted out, colored, beautiful. Shows the organic of everything. Shows the organic of the entire universe and the cosmos that surround us. What can I say? I loved it. Okay, let's get into explaining what the heck this movie is. Now, very different from Little Dog for Roger, which I previously watched by Malcolm Grice. This film has quite a lot of rhythm to it, and visually and through the sound blips. It goes from simple to complex, and it ramps up over the entirety of the film. So, how does it do this? We start with just basic colors, color strips, then we see images, police, then the police images sort of have their permutations and experimentations, and they have their different colors and their times and their flashing and so on and so forth. Then they become superimposed over top of each other, and they keep looping and they keep flashing and so on and so forth. Then later there's some geometric rings, circles, whatnot overlaid that flash and stretch, and it all sort of starts flashing all together and overlapping and so on and so forth until the film ends. So, simple to complex. I love that this film seems to be commenting or, attempting to do something interesting with genre as a structural film and as an experimental film with no narrative. In that it seems like, it reminds me of a mystery movie or like some sort of British detective story. Like these police circling around, wondering, it looks like a crime scene. We're trying to pick up clues, but the clues are like just out of reach. The music that plays is only for like half a second. The images are so contrasted we can barely see what we're looking at. We're trying to grasp for clues of something, both with our eyes and our ears, just as detectives would do in a detective story. And, they look like detectives. So this is why I say that it seems to be playing with genre. And I don't know, it's just super fun and beautiful and haunting all at once. And maybe there's something to be said here about the futility of trying to find the clues in everything, trying to examine everything, trying to examine experimental film, as opposed to just letting it wash over you or experiencing it from time to time. Now, of course, you should always be thinking. I'm not saying that, but just like super analytic, doesn't work for every film, like Terrence Malick films, which sounds pretentious, but whatever. Terrence Malick is pure poetry. I don't know, there's this weird power play going on. Half the time, the film feels very powerful, and the police or whoever feel very powerful and scary. But at other times, the film seems to be robbing them of power and robbing them of identity in a way, reducing them to their outlines, or what do you call that? Their silhouettes, taking away their humanity, showing us symbols and distorting them, playing with them. Symbols of power and police, as opposed to just showing them outright, It's like taking that power and sculpting it, and spitting it out into something else, which is fun and powerful in itself. And of course, this is a Malcolm Grice film, so the same things loop over and over for like 15 minutes or whatever. So, interestingly enough, we get a visual representation of this in these geometric circles or rings. These are visual loops and rings of loops, or I should say layers of loops, which, of course mimics the film reel. It mimics a lot of things in our universe and things that loop, cycles, etc. Just the visual imagery of squashing and stretching these circles, these rings, furthers the feeling of taking these powerful things, these entities like the police or power, or just like natural, that's right, or just like natural powerful things like, the loops in the universe, like the sun going around, the earth going around the sun, we can't control that. It has control over us. But squashing them and stretching them in this film is like taking that and, messing with it, giving us the power in a way, or giving the filmmaker the power, I don't know. I'm like meandering around, but you get the idea. Power. Just playing around, taking big things, breaking them, doing what you want with them, and playing around with them. Anywho, yeah. Again, I love this film. It's cold. It's beautiful. The colors are gorgeous. The flashing is gorgeous. It is haunting. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link for it in the description and whatnot. It's on Ubu Web, UBU. So, I make films from time to time as well. Some of them have flashing. My name's Connor Parsley. Check him out at connorparsley.com, or, YouTube Connor Parsley if you'd like. And stick around if you want to watch more discussion on experimental film, silent film, and so on and so forth. Alright. Bye.